Hello, my friends. Matt Hall here, Presidential Diamond in doTERRA, and I'm very excited in this video to share with you some distinctions between marketing and prospecting in your doTERRA business, how to really build your business right now in the current environment where it needs to be online, and also share with you my personal daily prospecting routine. What I do as a Presidential Diamond to this day, every single day, I take 20 or 30 minutes and I'm prospecting. I'm starting new relationships, new conversations with people to get them introduced to doTERRA essential oils, okay? Now, first of all, I wanna talk a little bit about this distinction between marketing and prospecting and how to do good marketing, and then I'll move into two types of prospecting that you can do. First of all, marketing is really creating content on social media or online that you hope attracts somebody who then reaches out to you for more information about your product, either to buy it or for more information, right? So that content can be done on YouTube, it can be done on Facebook, Instagram, it can be stories, it can be lives, it can be any kind of content. But I refer to that as marketing for the sake of our analogy here today. Now, marketing is great and you should absolutely be doing it, but you don't have control over how many people are going to reach out to you, right? And so you also need to have prospecting because especially in the beginning of your business, you can control how many people you reach out to and how many conversations you start. And that's why we start everybody in doTERRA with the same launch plan of introducing doTERRA to their friends and their family through classes and through, I like to use the hot market approach. If you haven't heard of that, it's the very first thing I do with a distributor to get them their first sales and their first class attendees within their first 24 hours in the business. And I'll put a link to that video here below. But that's prospecting, is actively reaching out and inviting people to learn more, right? Marketing is creating of content. In both of these scenarios, I want you to take some time to determine who is your target market, who is the ideal person or one person that you can provide a consistent message to, so that as you're creating that content and also as you're prospecting that specific type of person, the person you're prospecting and reaching out to is seeing your marketing, they're seeing your videos, your lives, your stories, and you create more curiosity and more interest for them in the doTERRA business or the doTERRA products, okay? That target market for my wife, for example, is yoga teachers because she's a yoga teacher and she knows how to speak their language and provide content that resonates with them. For me, it's men, right? It's men that like to live a healthy, fit lifestyle. Those are people who I understand. I know how to really communicate with them. And it goes even deeper. But we're not doing a target market exercise today, but I just want you to know that if you have one determined target market, moms of children who struggle with a certain issue or whatever it may be, that's going to help you be more specific and attract people with more power. Now, next tip I want to give you is when you're doing your marketing and creating content, what I don't recommend, okay, let me put a caveat in here. The truth is everything works. Like my wife and I, we've signed up people through Facebook, Instagram, live stories, groups, funnels, ads, everything you can imagine. So everything can work well, if it's done right, and if it's done with consistency. Now, what typically does not work, especially for those of you who are getting started in doTERRA, is what most people teach you, which is to post pictures of a bottle of essential oil and talk about all the benefits, or to do a live that talks about the 10 benefits of lavender essential oil, right? While that is educational and it is informative, it's not very attractive. The reason for that is, I love what Tiffany Peterson teaches. She's a great coach for a lot of people in doTERRA, that you need to sell the destination, not the vehicle or not the airplane, right? So if I'm selling a trip, for example, to Cancun, I'm not going to go to somebody and say, hey, you got to take this trip to Cancun. You're going to get on an airplane. It's a Delta airline. They own the airline. And it's a very, very clean airline, very pure leather that they use on the seats. They're going to provide for you a drink, a very small cup of a drink. They're going to give you maybe some peanuts, and it's going to be a great trip to Cancun. Right? That doesn't sell the trip to Cancun. However, what does sell the trip to Cancun would be me, for example, got my videos downloading here. But what does sell a trip to Cancun is you talking about the beach, talking about stand-up paddleboard, talking about the beautiful places that they're going to go, the amazing restaurants they're going to go to. And then when the person says, wow, I got to go to Cancun, how do I get there? Then you sell them on the flight, right? You sell them the ticket. Our doTERRA oils are the flight. It's the airline that takes people to the destination that they want. But people don't want to buy essential oils, or those who do are already probably buying from you. So what we need to do in our marketing is create content that shows people the destination and gets them curious, right? I love this method of operation, which is you use posts that create curiosity that will then drive start a conversation, okay? In conversations, then you can invite them to a class, or you can convert them on the spot for a sale, right, to buy a product. And then from that conversion, obviously you get your commission. So this is the goal: curiosity, conversion, conversation, conversation, conversion, conversion, commission. You can add class in there between the conversation and the conversion, right? Your conversation would be to invite them to a class, and on the class you convert them to doTERRA. But what most people do is they're out there just posting pictures of bottles, and that doesn't create a lot of curiosity. Or if it does, it just feels like spam, because they know that that's your goal, is to sell that product, sell, 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 right? What I like to do is create curiosity posts. So the example that I gave in my Zoom video, if you watched my video about Zoom, was a post on a story, for example, where you're saying, hey, I'm curious, are any of my friends out there interested in increasing or improving their immune system? Yes or no? That creates curiosity. The person says, yes, me. That opens the door to a conversation. So anything that opens the door to a conversation is good. And if right now what you're currently doing is getting you conversations with people, keep doing what you're doing. If it's not, consider showing less of the product, talking more about the destination than you do the features of what it is you're selling. Benefits over features, right? So for example, what are ways you do that? One, you could do a picture of a before and after of somebody who's losing weight. If your target market are people who want to lose weight, you could show a before and after and say, wow, shout out to my friend Jennifer. I'm so excited. She's lost 10 pounds already using our products. I couldn't be more proud of you, girl. Boom, that's it. That creates curiosity. If somebody sees that and they're not looking to lose weight, they're not in that target market, it's just going to be white noise. They're just going to scroll past it. Whereas if somebody sees you posting your bottles for sale and they're not interested, they consider that spam, right? It's annoying. And it's overly promotional. And Facebook and Instagram, the algorithms will they'll demolish you if you're being overly promotional. So curiosity. Another example of a curiosity post, you could say, hey guys, I just got involved. I just got started using natural products. I'm amazed. For the first time in 3 months, I got a solid night's sleep using some natural products. I'm so grateful that I was introduced to these, right? Or something like that, right? I'm doing this off the cuff, but you talk about the destination, something that a result that somebody could want before you talk about what it is. Why? Another reason, guys, if you're just out there posting pictures of doTERRA bottles, most people, if you tell them, you've got to sign up, you've got to get an account, you got to get a kit, you got to come to a class. If they really want it, instead of doing that, they're going to look at what you posted, and then they're going to go to Amazon and they're going to buy on Amazon, right? So there's so many reasons why this methodology is just better, okay? Again, this is Matt Hall's opinion, right? And I'm not saying that the other way doesn't work. It absolutely works, especially if you already have influence and already have a lot of people interested in doTERRA. Okay, so that's a little bit about marketing. Pick a target market, create curiosity posts, something that will drive a conversation. It's the same thing for attracting builders, if you're wondering that. But how do I attract builders? Well, you do a post, for example, where you're talking, you do a shout out. Maybe you don't even have a team yet, but you have a cross-line person who what they're earning in doTERRA is paying for their car payment. Shout out to Julie, who with our home-based business is already, last month she made enough to cover her car payment, even in this crisis. Wow, Julie, you're amazing, right? People are going to reach out to you and be like, what is Julie doing? I want to pay for my car payment. Or at least it's going to get them curious to a point where it could start a conversation, right? And if you do that enough, you create enough curiosity in somebody, eventually they're going to be like, wow. Or it could be you taking a screenshot when you get a new customer, a new sign up, and being like, wow, one more customer in our family, right? And again, I wouldn't say doTERRA. You can if you want. But I prefer, especially when somebody's starting, that they be as generic as they can in the beginning, okay? So those are some ideas of how you can create curiosity posts that could get somebody interested in the business. Talk about your successes, talk about your victories, talk about the victories of people on your team, not $10,000 a month. Oh, how doTERRA's leadership bonus at Presidential Diamond pays $30,000 a month. No, that's beyond people's ability to see. So help, shout out to this person who hosted their first class on Zoom, and they had 10 people there learning about our products. I'm so proud of you, right? Little posts, victories that show other people that you're active in the business and that you're helping other people succeed and that they're having success. They're getting results financially, okay? All right, now, I promised you I'd share with you my prospecting tips. let's go back to prospecting. There's two types of prospecting that work, and they both work. One is direct prospecting. The second is indirect prospecting. Direct prospecting would be like you going to hashtag sick baby, right? And you know that somebody's only putting hashtag sick baby on their Instagram post if they have that issue. Or you could go to a support group on Facebook for depression or some kind of specific issue, right? And you know that people are struggling with their emotions if they're in that group, right? And it would be you then, reaching out to these people cold and being like, hey, I don't know if it would be a fit for you or not, but I recently got introduced to some products that are really helping me or really helping me with my baby in that scenario, whatever it may be. Somebody in your upline, right? Julie, who's an expert on natural products, is going to be doing an online presentation on Thursday. If you'd be open to, then you have a conversation. And if they express interest, then you say, listen, if you're open to learn, I'd love to send you the link for you to join on live. And I always use that line, if you're open to learn, right? Are you open to learn about blank? Are you open to learn about natural solutions? Are you open to learn about a business opportunity for home, whatever it may be? Okay, so that's direct prospecting. Find somebody who has a need and offering them a way to learn about the solution. Now, not offering them the solution right away, because that's spam, right? If you reach out to them and you're like, hey, I saw your baby's sick. I've got stronger essential oil. I think you should buy it, right? That's going to turn people away, right? But if you cultivate a relationship, if you invite them, you can even do a direct invite, but it's an invite to learn. It's not an invite to buy, right? Invite to learn comes before the invite to buy. Okay, so that's an example of direct prospecting. Honestly, I don't do a lot of that today, but it is the way. Direct contact with your friends, family, and then with cold market people, that direct prospecting approach is the fastest way to get results in your doTERRA business. It does hurt more because you have to go through the rejection. And so one example of a direct, there's lots of different ways to do this, but here's another example I wanted to give you. And again, this fits into a good target market. So my wife, she wanted to go to Europe. And we already had a small team brewing in Scotland, but she really wanted to go to London. And this was towards the beginning of our doTERRA journey. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to pay to go to London, but I also wanted to help her fulfill her dream. And so we decided to direct prospect, to reach out to 200 yoga teachers with the goal of scheduling 6 classes in London. And we knew we could get another 2 classes up in Scotland with the team that was already going there. And we felt like if we could get 8 successful classes with over 10 people, that it would be worth the trip, right? And so what did we do? My wife specifically, she reached out to 200 yoga teachers and offered them a small kit of essential oils if they would get together 10 of their students or their friends who were interested in natural products for us to do a presentation for 1 hour, right? And we had to reach out to 200 people, but we were able to schedule all of those classes. So that's an example of prospecting, right? Cold outreach. And again, it's a numbers game. So we did not have 100 people say yes. We had to reach out to 200 to get 6, right? But it's something that we could control. We could control how many people we talk to. So that's the benefit of direct prospecting. Now, here's the indirect approach. And I promised I'd give you my daily prospecting routine in doTERRA as a presidential diamond. What do I do? This takes a little bit longer with people, but it's extremely effective. Okay, here's what I do. I do the same thing. I've got my target market in mind. Let's say your target market was people who were Reiki practitioners or people who were interested in Reiki, right? What you would do then is you would go, I do this every single night. I lay in my bed before I go to bed, 20 to 30 minutes. I know I should keep the blue light away from me and I should not have my phone in my room before I go to bed, but I sleep great. And anyway, I know it's wrong, but it's when I do it. But find a time that's in your daily routine to be your prospecting time. Me as a presidential diamond, I've got a lot of other demands with my team and mentoring and everything. And so, but I still find about 30 minutes a day that I carve out for prospecting on Instagram. That's outside of other things that I do for my own personal production. But carve out some time for this, for personal prospecting. And here's the indirect approach, okay? Here's what I do. I'm going to find people in my target market. Again, you can do this on Facebook and groups. I do it on Instagram specifically because I can either go to people, let's say my target market was Reiki practitioners. I could go to somebody who's an influencer in that space, and I know that all the people who are commenting on their posts, they fall into my target market, right? And I'm never going to run out of people. Or I know that if I go hashtag Reiki, I'm going to find a ton of people who are posting about Reiki, and I can talk to them, right? Now, that's not my target market, but that's just an example of what you could do. It could be massage therapists. It could be moms, right? It could be moms of toddlers, moms of kids with autism. It could be anything. It could be fitness people, right? It could be CrossFit. It could be whatever you are that you can speak to. You can resonate with them, and you know that the essential oils are something that's a percentage of them would be interested in, right? Now, what I do is my goal every day is to add 5 to 10 new prospects to my prospecting list. Where do I keep track of my prospecting list on Instagram? There are 2 inboxes in your Instagram account, primary and general. You have your primary, automatically all your conversations go into your primary inbox. You also have the general folder, which you have to manually add messages into. I use my general folder as my list of prospects and my prospecting folder. So how do you do this? You go into your messages. If I go into a specific message, like I've got the example here of a conversation with my wife, Shantae, if you then click on the little I that's at the top, you can then move a message to your general inbox, okay? And you can see I've got a list on this last picture. There's a list of a bunch of people who are in my general inbox. I have hundreds of prospects now that I'm cultivating a relationship and actively inviting to classes that are in this general folder. Again, I find them through a hashtag or through an influencer. And then what do? I find people who have the little circle around them. Or in other words, they did stories that day. I want to see people who are active on Instagram. And so when I find somebody who has the little circle around them, I'll click and I'll watch their stories. And then I'll send a meaningful message to them about one of their stories. So if I see a picture of their dog, I'll be like, wow, that's such a cute dog. What type of dog? Or wow, I see you're into Reiki, or I see you're into massage therapy. Tell me a little bit more. And I generate a conversation with them. Then I move that conversation into my folder, right? Now, if I'm doing this, for example, with all massage therapists, and I know that in my day-to-day, in my stories, in the marketing that I'm producing, I'm creating content that would attract that specific target market, that's really powerful. That's a way to like double your results, right? So besides me adding 5 to 10 people to my list, to this prospecting list every single day, I also, in addition to that, I go in and I see everybody who did a story in my general inbox, everybody who has that little circle around them, and I interact with their stories to deepen the friendship, and I start to get to know them. I let them get to know me. Again, this is indirect prospecting, so it takes time, but it's also very beneficial because as I warm up the contacts, if I've been talking to them for a little bit, then either they could reach out to me because of something in my marketing, or I can reach out to them when I have a class that I feel like would benefit and serve or be a solution to a problem that they have, okay? An example of this, just this last week, I did recognition on my Instagram account for one of the markets that we work in, at Brazil in this case, and I've got a whole list of prospects there. And I did recognition of our team and recognized people who are having success. And I had 2 people reach out to me and get signed up in our company because they saw that recognition. They reached out and they've been like, hey, we've been talking for a while. Tell me more about that business, right? I see you're helping other people have results, right? And so that's what I do every night. For 30 minutes, I have to add 5 to 10 new people, and I have to interact with all of the people who did stories who are in my prospecting list, okay? So that's an example of indirect. Again, that's not gonna get you as fast of results as talking to your friends, family, inviting them to classes, or doing direct prospecting on social media, but it's a more comfortable way, and it's a more long-term way that's relationship driven, and I really like it. So that's my daily routine for prospecting. I hope that this video was beneficial to you. If it was, go ahead and send it to somebody on your team who you feel like would benefit. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you have any questions, get at me in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you felt like this was beneficial. And we've got a lot more great videos coming your way. See ya. Bye.